Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Mediums in Action with me, Martin Lick-Wilson, and my good friend and expert medium, Ian Doherty.
Good morning, people. Good morning, Martin.
It's, I think we're both in a bit of a kind of go and get them sort of mood. What's kind of happened is Ian started off a talking point about some of the offers and things that you see on Fiverr.com or Facebook or eBay, that sort of thing. I think it's a discussion point, really. It's well worth discussing why these people are offering it and what the offers are and why they make absolutely no sense. Because you've spotted one in particular, haven't you, Ian?
Yeah, it sort of piqued my interest. I was doing some research on healing, where I'm interested in the workings of the physical body, the mind, and I don't like to be looking in study books, which I did, university degree into health sciences, and I want to broaden my understanding of what it is, particularly as well coming from a spiritual point of view. The energies, how they pervade through your body and how we can make sense of them with our mind. And I was coming across some healing, and I've come over some very alarming things, of the claims that some people make. Obviously, I'm not going to mention names because it isn't fair on them. But, claims like sending out the healing can help with court dates coming up, can help take away any anxiousness from you if you're on trial or you're in defense, and it sort of hints that, all of the people in that court, the judge, the witnesses, are all going to be cleansed. And I've got to think, well, cleansed of what? And then,
so this is an offer on a website somewhere, and basically this person, she or he, is saying that if you've got a court case, she will cleanse the judge, the jury, and the lawyers, and
yeah.
So is this for somebody who's got a court case then, or is it?
Well, I would have thought, whether you're a court case, whether you are in defence, whether somebody's done harm to you or you've been accused and it's, and you find yourself trying to defend yourself against something that isn't right, or whether you have been found guilty and you have to go to court, and it's sort of a situation. The person, I've come across several pages, and it's all sort of put over, yes, we can influence in inverted commas, do they through the thought processes in their healing way, the thoughts, whether they're working with spirit, whether they're working with God, whether they're working with the angels, and then it comes over into a sense, are they saying that they can influence that court case, will it come out in your favour, whether you're accused or defending? There's
it's shocking. I mean, that really is shocking, because what they're saying is whether you're guilty or innocent, that they can, for a fee, I should imagine that there's a fee involved, that they can somehow influence how a court case can actually go ahead. And I mean, that kind of, it kind of ventures into two areas. If you look at it from a spiritual point of view, let's say you believe her claims or his claims that they can do this for you, that they can somehow cleanse a whole courtroom that you'll be sitting in. The question is firstly on a metaphysical level. So he or she is performing some form of black magic, I suppose, in a way, some negative aspect, because you're trying to influence people, you're trying to guide people into a conclusion that may actually be wrong. Because what happens if the defendant is actually or not guilty? It's kind of a real sort of black grey area, this, because you're manipulating. It's like when people talk about love magic. There's a lot of people promoting love magic, and they say, I will convince the person you fancy or whatever that you're attracted to, I will make them love you. Well, hang on a minute. That means you're breaking somebody's free will. I mean, we're presuming that this works. If that's the case, then you're breaking somebody's free will. Surely this is negative, really. These are bad things to actually be doing. I mean, that's my issue with that.
Yeah, it
from
is.
a metaphysical point of view.
It's the acclaim. We realise, where that healing, whether you do hands-on, whether you do Reiki, acupuncture, there's lots of different sort of methods of healing, and helping people, because the person doing the healing, we always see that person as having the right intent on doing so and wanting to reach out and sort of help that person. But I feel when you make claims like this, then you've got to be sort of other people that are getting in touch with this person or persons, because there's multiple pages. Then is it a case of multiple websites, so I say, or is it a case therefore then that the person wanting to get in contact is deemed vulnerable? Is it their last sort of ditched effort.
Well, it's vulnerable and it's also desperate as well. And
Yeah.
from the person looking for these services, they're obviously well aware that they're quite desperate, and actually they probably need to be talking to somebody official rather than somebody like this. And also as well, it's a question of moral ethics as well. I mean, if you're prepared to offer this service, let's say you believe that you can do this, and you're offering that to somebody, again, there's a whole issue there where you're actually saying, I'm prepared to manipulate this courtroom to get you off scot-free. I think the problem is I mean, there's always been, kind of business cards for psychics in pubs or, scattered around in various shops, or, there's always been psychics and that sort of thing. I will find your loved one, or I'll give you an idea, tell you who the person is. Love and relationship is something that is very, very strongly talked about in readings, as you know, because in telephone readings, people want to know about if somebody loves them or if they're going to find love. That's understandable, but I think the problem is the internet has given platforms to people. I mean, I'm on Fiverr at the moment, and I can see here that somebody's offering, I will clean the spiritual aura of your pets for your health and harmony for £4.06. Another one here, I will detach etheric cords and cleanse your aura for £16.23.
Yeah,
and it's kind of going through. I mean, there's another one here, somebody called Sicko20. I don't think I'd ever buy from somebody called Sicko, but I will cleanse and detoxify your aura, energize your body and chakras while diagnosing any health issues. That is, I mean, firstly, if you think you've got any health issues, or I certainly would not go to Fiverr and spend £4.
No, you need to go to your doctor, don't you?
You need, I mean, this is the thing, is that if you do feel that you are, I don't know, let's say that you do feel that you need to cleanse yourself, and there's ways and means, and one of them is meditation, one of them's talking to your guide, one of them's relaxing more and actually admitting to yourself, that there's something wrong, and obviously maybe talk to your doctor about your mental health as well. But I mean, it's quite scary, really, when you kind of troll through here. I mean, one guy here, he's saying, I will be your spiritual guide to remove energy blocks that are holding you back in life. I mean, again, that's, they're not going to be a spiritual guide, and they're not going to remove energy block. I mean, a lot of this smacks of ignorance, I suppose.
Well, it is. When you think not only of the processes, but, a little bit of naivety, I think. And there's, they have self-belief, of course. But when you're looking at, some of the pages I've come over, doing a search this last couple of days, talking about being able to rid or heal mental issues, where borderline personality disorder, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, and I'm thinking, hang on a minute. I know all healing is very much belief-based, you know what I mean? But there are, if you do the searches, there is evidence of cures being given. You're looking at psychic healing, and again, you have to dig, because it's not all just put out there, you know what I mean? With these sites, there's no sort of empirical evidence to say that this works, so how can you say that you can clear or cure a mental illness, you know what I mean?
Well, there's a guy here, I mean, I'm looking at this guy here on here, and it says, I will program your unconscious mind and with healing powers. Some of the example program, listen to this. I work with the spiritual and entities of light in the 5th dimension to program your matrix. By using special techniques, alchemize and delete your matrix's limited programs and insert new programs. Some of the example programs I can insert in yourself. Experience an unlimited wealth, access all of my memories, discover my life mission. Life offers me the best possibilities. I experience unlimited love. I mean, I really don't know what this is all about. I mean, I think let's pull this back. So basically, there are loads of methods where, I mean, let's look at it from a spiritualist medium perspective. You can send healing to people. I believe that.
Absent healing.
Exactly, yeah. That there's been many times when I've asked for that for people who I know, if people could send healing. And then there's also times where I've sent healing to people, and I'm sure you're the same. So from an absent point of view, if somebody said, could you send me healing? Yes, you could send healing. You could talk to your guides. You could do visualization techniques where you're sending light to this person, or sending, kind of, there's a lot of techniques there that aren't about, and this is where this stuff jumps, where it doesn't promise things. It doesn't say that I'm going to cleanse your energies, your auras, I'm going to give you unlimited wealth and all that sort of thing. It's just purely about sending, I suppose it's positive energy, if you want to say positive, but it's about sending, kind of, it's like, I was reading the other day, somebody was saying that Reiki doesn't help solve anxiety. And I thought, well, actually, that's wrong. Whether you believe in Reiki or healing or whatever, knowing that people are thinking about you, and I think this comes into, and knowing that people are sending you healing does give you peace of mind, and that does lower anxiety levels, which in the long run does also help with your health, your mental health, as well as your physical health.
Yes, definitely.
So firstly, I don't think there's anything wrong with healing at all, saying that you can send healing, but it's the claims that they're attaching to it are just absolutely ridiculous. I mean, this whole thing about clearing chakras, the more work I've done into chakras and how they exist or don't exist.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying chakras don't exist. What I'm saying is they only exist when you actually open them up or when you visualize them. For somebody to say that I'm going to unlock your chakras and reprogram them, or I'm going to cleanse your chakras, is absolutely nonsense. It's totally misunderstood from the original text.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's happened here, is basically it's like what we've said before about keeping it simple. I mean, what these people have done is added a load of rubbish to various things, and added promises as well. That it's the promises that scare me, to be honest with you.
The absent healing, where I've felt it firsthand, it does work. And then again, you could say, well, am I biased because I've got a belief in healing, where certainly from a spiritual point of view. But
I'd say that's part and parcel of it. And yes, you can be skeptical, and I mean, we both question the messages. We question the communications that we receive from spirit. We question that where does healing come from? But what I would say is, and if anything, looking at the work of things like Keith Batchelder, who looked at how communication with spirit works, and some of the experiments that he did there. One thing that belief does play a part. And it's funny, isn't it, how we used to do ghost hunts, and if we had a whole room full of skeptics, nothing ever happened. And so you could say, well, okay, then did nothing happen because there was nobody faking it? Well, no, because there has to be a level of belief within that room.
Okay, so if it's like we used to get it, did you hear that noise?
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is it wasn't the believers who were experiencing it. It was actually the other people. So with healing, I think to open yourself up to healing, you do have to have that sense of belief. You have to, that belief does play a part of it.
Yeah.
So to send that's great. And I do believe healing does work. I've done physical healing. I've practiced Jo-Rei, which is a Japanese form of healing as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I had great results from that. My wife even used to heal her pets as well, and had some amazing results with that. So healing, I think, works, and I think also as well is sending positive energy towards people. I think you can send positive thoughts to people, and you could break that down and say, well, how does that work? But I mean, look at this. I mean, there's one here, Ian, and it says, I will clean your aura and remove blockage. I mean, you are, to me, the aura guy. You know your auras and how that works. I mean, that surely doesn't make any sense to you.
No, it isn't. I mean, but people get hung up on the whole chakra system, and it's sort of blockages. Well, really, it isn't. Where it's the old adage: if you find it hard to communicate, or you're coughing a lot, then it's your throat chakra that's blocked. It isn't. You know what I mean? It is a perception of what that person's coming from. Because remember, I was doing a course, a spiritual course online through a recognized organization. Yeah. And the person marking it was a surgeon, so he's got a spiritual outlook and a very scientific background. And he was saying, look, chakras, I'm a surgeon. I cut people open for a living. Never once have I had to say, let's just move this chakra out the way. So are they there ethereal wise? Is it of a case where the sort of,
but to be argumentative, chakras are never classed as being physical anyway. They're a part of the ethereal
So
body.
yeah,
So
this is what I was coming on to say.
yeah. So his statement about that. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
auras. I mean, an aura. I'm sure that he's never had to cut through an aura to get through to a
No,
body.
but
But
I
then,
think, yeah,
yeah.
sorry,
Sorry.
I think he was trying to get me to think, rather than
Yeah.
saying that what I said was a load of rubbish. I think
Yeah.
he's trying to say you need to question this. How can you evidence that there is a chakra? Because, science or the skeptic might say, well, I've never had to push one out of the way. So in hindsight, it gets you to think when you're having somebody coming from a scientific way when you're looking at it in a spiritual way, so I feel there's balance in that, and it needs to be balanced, you know what I mean? So when you're looking at, I would never say that they're not chakras. It's just our perception of what they are and our understanding of what they are.
Yeah. Well, that's why there's been good work recently in the last 3 years or so, 3-4 years, with people like Christopher Tompkins and Harish Wallace, all going back to the original texts and looking at what the original perceptions of what chakras are. And they're very, very interesting. They are, there's no doubt that chakras are a way of almost, it's a visualization technique. And same with Kundalini and how
Yeah.
that's all been misinterpreted. Kundalini never stops at the base of the spine. It is constantly moving Kundalini.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, Kundalini is actually a description, really, of our breath and our connection to the universe. So when you breathe in, basically the Kundalini comes from the universe through the crown chakra or the crown, and then through and into an area just below the heart. And then when you breathe out, it goes back up. And it says in the really ancient text, this happens thousands of times a day. And the reason why it happens 1,000 times a day is because how many times do you breathe in and out?
Well, that's it. Yeah.
So
yeah.
you don't waken up Kundalini, because if your Kundalini was asleep, then essentially you're not breathing.
Yes.
So I mean that's simple. I mean that's the ancient text. But what happened was it was actually a misinterpretation by the Edwardian English people who interpreted it. People like Arthur Avalon misinterpreted what Kundalini was.
Yeah.
And Kundalini, the reason why people say, oh, it's a snake and that sort of thing. Again, it's a misinterpretation. Kundalini is actually described as acting like a snake. It's kind of, it's life energy, like a flash of lightning almost, kind of going up to the universe and then coming back down and then coming up and then coming back down. And then it goes through everybody. It's like a life force.
Yeah.
And that's why breath work is very much involved in yoga, because it's a part of controlling your connection with the universe.
Yeah, same as Tai. Is it linked to sort of same principle as Tai Chi when they do that? Chi being the energy they look at.
It's exactly the same. It's same, isn't it? I mean, it's all about energy work, and that's what I find fascinating, is that you've got all of this global recognition that breath work and meditation and it's all connected in some way. That I mean, to me, there's some sort of ancient knowledge there that I think somehow spread, possibly as we spread across the world. But I think what we wanted to talk about, just to pull this back, is really that there's a lot of offers out there, and sometimes you kind of look and you think, I do feel like that, or I do, and you really need to question really what these people are selling to you and why they're selling it. And usually, I mean, somebody here is offering for £137, which is a lot of money, to basically clear your aura. And I think that's absolutely ridiculous, because as I say, and you're the aura guy, it's not something that you can do. You can't clear your aura, can you? Because it's something that's a natural pervadance, sure.
It is. I've had people cleaning my aura or brushing my aura, and the way I say to people, I said, well, how there's nothing different there. I said the only way you can, I always put it, the colours in the aura, which I see very, very clearly, they will change as our moods change, as our diet changes, if we have illness, if we're happy, if we're sad. The other one there, one of the things to put it over, you could, I've got one of those Aura 6000 aura cameras, and I did a little experiment with several people. I took a picture of when they were relaxed, and then I set up a sequence of photographs, which was always going to be, because it was on a Microsoft Office programs, where I could set it up so it would show the image for a set time, a break, next image, giving me time to take a photograph, put it down, for the next image comes and take a photograph. And it always changed, where I would be, for instance, I was showing them photographs of a concentration camp, with a little rose on the wall. I was showing one of facial disfigurements. And then I absolutely adore cats. Then I was showing one of a mum cat with a little kittens, and you could see the order changing from each picture, and it happened with every single person bar one. Yeah, there was one person who had no change in their order at all until they saw the cats, and then it went bananas. And I thought, what's the problem here? I said, what's the problem with cat? And this person says, I don't like them because their eyes remind me of snakes, and I'm scared of snakes. So that's the only reaction, but you could see it all the way through the order camera, which, yes, it is a facsimile, but it still has a current going through it, a very mild current, mind you. So it gets resonance differences, so it will put different colours in different area as you would do in hexadecimal and working it out, so it puts it into, I dare say, into a digital 0.03 milliamps or something like so. For those who know electricity, if I got it wrong, I'm sorry, but it sort of puts over into a sense, you could see it changing. So when you say somebody cleaning your order, if I chucked a bucket of water at somebody in the hope that it cleans their aura, all I would get is either a thump in the face or their aura going red. It just puts over there. You can affect the human body to affect the aura. You cannot affect the aura to affect the human body.
I think also as well as I don't like. I mean, where you can send healing and I mean this whole thing about I'm going to manipulate your aura and to me it all seems like power stuff. Really,
yeah,
is that
it does.
I'm almighty and powerful. There's a lot of offers on Fiverr and on YouTube that I will break curses on you. So if you've been cursed by bad luck, I will break that curse. And a lot of it comes down to, sort of positive thinking, really. I mean, we've talked about it before where we knew somebody who had a series of, sort of natural deaths, I want to say. I mean, I know as upsetting it is, and they were under, they believed that they were under psychic attack.
Yeah.
And when actually you looked at it and statistically looked at it and kind of looked at the health issues and things like that, it was just natural, unfortunately. And we can't control things that are natural.
Oh, no.
And it's just about how you often interpret life as a whole, really. A good friend sent me a message yesterday and said, I hope life's treating you well. And I replied back almost instinctively, said, it seems to be treating me well, but you never know. And that's what I would say is we've all got this journey that we're going through. You don't need people like these charlatans, I would say, or people who are offering things that they cannot deliver. And what you do need to concentrate on is really either look at things like mindfulness, look at things that will break your anxiety. If you feel stressed, if you feel that you're, surrounded by negativity, then go for a walk in the woods and chill out, because ecotherapy is a great thing. There's so many resources now to help you. You've just got to do that thing and ask for help. And if anybody wants to ask myself or Ian from a spiritual perspective or from a mindfulness or mental health perspective, please contact us. We're happy to guide you in the right direction.
Yeah, definitely.
So we thought we'd have a rant about that this week anyway. So I'll tell you one thing that really blows my mind is the study group. We've got some amazing people in our study group. Anybody who signs up to our course is available. I can study group on Facebook, and the people who are on there just blow my mind regularly. The background, the information that they're getting is just great, and they're international. We've got people from South Africa talking to somebody from Sweden, from American.
It's countries, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just great to reach out and pull people together and share their experiences, and it's great seeing people's experiences and also as well is seeing the amazing results that they're getting as well. So it's great.
Indeed.
Right, so that's the end of this podcast. We'll be back soon, and we're going to try and up this. We've got a new podcast coming out soon as well. We're not going to tell you anything else, but we will be doing another podcast as well, which I'm really excited about and looking forward to. It should be good. It pushes both of our knowledge base as well, doesn't it? It's
yes.
So it'll be coming soon. So thank you very much, everybody, for listening.
Yeah,
thank you, Ian.
Yeah, thank you too, Martin. It's always nice to chat. Is my motive. Always nice to chat.